Turning out to Minnesota, concerns over its widespread fraud. The fallout from a video by independent journalist Nick Shirley on alleged fraud at child and health care centers continues to grow. Health and Human Services now say it's freezing all federal child care funding to Minnesota. We have NTD's Daniel Monahan with more on federal investigations into the alleged system-wide fraud ramp-up.
HHS Deputy Secretary Jim O'Neill wrote on X, quote, "We have turned off the money spigot and we are finding the fraud."
We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade.
O'Neill says HHS has taken 3 direct actions against what he called blatant fraud. The first step is activating the Defend the Spend system, enhanced payment oversight now applied to all federal child care funding nationwide.
Second, I've just signed and sent a demand letter to Governor Walz. I required a full 360 review of these centers. This includes attendance records, licenses, complaints, investigations, and inspections.
And third, we've launched a dedicated fraud reporting hotline and email address at childcare.gov. Whether you're a parent, a provider, a member of the public, we want to hear from you.
Anyone who's involved in perpetrating this fraud against the American people should expect to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Health and Human Services provides Minnesota with $185 million in child care funding each year.
That money should be helping 19,000 American children, including toddlers and infants. Any dollar stolen by fraudsters is stolen from those children.
Adams says he spoke directly this week with the director of the Minnesota Child Care Services Office.
She could not tell me with confidence whether those allegations of fraud are isolated or whether there's fraud stretching statewide.
Federal agents have surged into the state for a massive investigation into alleged fraudulent activity in child care operations. Homeland Security Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs Tricia McLaughlin says agents were going door to door at suspected fraud sites, speaking on Fox News.
Our Homeland Security investigators on the ground are also seeing that these suspected perpetrators are really trying to cover their tracks. They're trying to whitewash the operational facts on the ground, purporting to be a legitimate business, have legitimate business operations, when it's all a fugazi.
Federal authorities estimate about $9 billion has been lost to fraudulent claims in the state's federal assistance programs. Governor Walz disputes that number, calling it sensationalized and motivated by politics. Nearly 100 people have been charged since 2022 in connection with daycare fraud in Minnesota, and 85 of them were of Somali descent. Independent journalist Nick Shirley and his researcher David returned to the Quality Learning Center in Minneapolis yesterday.
And what makes this daycare even more interesting is that while the Commissioner of Children of Minnesota was saying that the daycare was closed on a live stream,
Quality Learning Center closed just over a week ago.
A Somalian man was outside talking about how they are open, letting children in, and right now they are funneling children into the daycare.
Shirley says he's facing serious threats after exposing the alleged Minnesota fraud.
It's like bounties on me here in Minnesota because people are so upset as far as the fraud that's being exposed because they know their time's up and they know everyone's just sick and tired of this happening inside their own state and across America.
Shirley's researcher in the viral video, David, says he filed a criminal complaint against Walz over daycare fraud allegations, speaking on Fox News.
I think Tim's going to have a bad day, and he deserves it because he allowed this fraud.
Governor Tim Walz reacted to HHS freezing payments to Minnesota, calling it President Trump's long game to defund programs that help Minnesotans. Walz says the state has spent years cracking down on fraudsters. Attorney General Pam Bondi praised Shirley on X, saying his work has helped show Americans the scale of fraud in what she called Tim Walz's Minnesota. Bondi warned lawmakers to buckle up, saying more prosecutions are coming. Daniel Monahan, NTD News.